Hi, I'm Mike Zyda, and today's presentation is going to be about a trip I took to China the 24th of June through the 9th of July. This is actually the second week of that trip and probably a little bit into the third week. So we're going to share those slides, share the slides, share, and then go play here. All right. This is a picture on the left of the small Wild Goose Pagoda. And the Wild Goose Pagoda is the start of the very famous story, Journey to the West. And let's move on. So on this trip, I'm staying in the Western Xi'an when most of my party flies back to the United States. And so I go out in the morning and do my swim in their pool, and then go over to look at the wild goose, the giant wild goose pagoda, which is under renovation and it's raining, and kind of wander around through the hotel and run into my friend Su Jin. And she is one of my oldest friends in China. She is a famous screenwriter now for television. And she's also been an executive producer for an opera company. So she's a superstar. And we are in the lobby of the Westin Xi'an looking around, seeing if we can make that face. All right. She takes me over to see a poet, poet Wei Dongqing. And he is a very famous poet. And he's going to give a presentation of his poetry at a youth hostel that is in the city wall in Xi'an. And so we head over in that direction. And the name of the youth hostel is the Shiyuan Hostel. And you can see it on the big red doors in the left picture. And you can see their menu on the right, which is got some eclectic things you could order: golden curry pizza, chili con carne, new beer fried chicken. Anyway, it's a youth hostel. You can actually stay there in a shared room and have dinner and breakfast and lunch with your roommates. And this is my friend Su Jun, and we're here to hear the poet. But first, we're going to eat some dinner, and we choose peach pizza. This is pizza that comes from the Biggest Pizza, which is a name of the shop inside of the youth hostel, and you get pizza with peaches on top, which has got to be the strangest pizza ever. It was good, but that is not something you find in America, I think, too many places. All of the visitors who visit the youth hostel end up being asked, can you please draw on a placemat that we can hang up on the wall? So you'll see people from England and Russia and Spain and Deutschland and all kinds of places that have done placemats decorated for hanging on the roof and on the walls and everything, and their flags. It's kind of cool. So this is the start of the Wei Dongqing presentation, and this is the woman who owns the youth hostel, and she's the one who introduces him. And at the end of he does a presentation of reading his poetry in Chinese, and at the end he gives me a copy of all of his published works, which is very cool. It's very sweet. He is a friend of my friend Zhu Jun. So the next day, I'm still in the Westin Xi'an, which I think, and I decided, well, I'm going to go walking around and see stuff. And virtual reality is really big in China. If you go to any shopping mall, you'll see a VR setup of some sort. Virtual reality. You'll see they've got AK-47 guns that work inside of the experience. And they have all kinds of different examples there, and it's kind of cool. And I look at that shopping center for a little bit, then I go out walking around down the roads next to the Westin Xi'an. Westin Xi'an is in a very wealthy neighborhood. It's also the best place if you're going to see some historic places in Xi'an, because it really is across from the Wild Goose Pagoda, the giant Wild Goose Pagoda, and it's down. You can actually also go not so far away to the small Wild Goose Pagoda, and you can also see get on a bus and go to the Terracotta Warriors Museum from here as well. So there, what you'll find when you're in Xi'an is you'll see these very cool, political, historical sculptures are everywhere. It's quite beautiful. I find China in it's quite beautiful in spaces. You'll see you can get a little three-wheeler taxi here. And when I came back from walking around, I found out that the Westin Xi'an had locked me out of my room. I had thought I had 3 weeks of reservation there. I actually only had 1 week. And so I had to beg them to let me back in my room. I asked them if they could give me an additional week of reservations, and they couldn't. So I called my friend Su Jun up. I actually sent her a message on WeChat, and she got me the Crown Plaza in Xi'an, which is very, very cool. It's a very tall building. So it looks like that. I think it's like 48, 49 stories. So it's a pretty famous landmark in Xi'an. And I don't remember what floor I was on, but it was a nice hotel and had a nice swimming pool as well. So, here you are, Xi'an Crown Plaza Hotel. Walking around the neighborhood, you'll see stuff like this. This is a mosquito abatement project where this guy is shooting out the anti-mosquito stuff. And then as you walk down the road from the Westin, not the Westin Xi'an, the Crown Plaza Xi'an, you get to see all these very cool little, shopping areas with interesting signs. And I just, I had no idea what they were, but I just took pictures everywhere. One building has this very cool dragon horse. Yeah, dragon horse on it. And I don't know what this is. I hope it's not some kind of crazy place. But I then head off to the Xi'an Museum. And I remember this day. It's very hot, it's very humid, and it's going to rain. And the Xi'an Museum has a very old sign. It's been around a long time. And this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. The small wild goose pagoda is inside. And this is the ancient building. I think it means it's got the old historic stuff in it. It's in Chinese, it's in Korean, and in English, should you care. And there's the small wild goose pagoda. It's got this beautiful lake. It's actually just a really nice spot. And in that park is a bunch of statues that look like this. They've been carved and they've been left out to get damaged by the elements for years and years. And so they're kind of cool. Okay, here's me with the small wild goose pagoda. Small wild goose pagoda used to be taller, but in an earthquake, it lost like 2 or 3 floors. And it's kind of, something that they have to be careful of. It was sometimes called the Little Wild Goose Pagoda. It's one of 2 significant pagodas in Xi'an. The other one is the Giant Wild Goose Pagoda. And it's the site of the old Han and Tang capital Chang'an. The other notable pagoda is Giant Wild Goose Pagoda, which was built between 652 and restored in 704 CE, Common Era. In the Yanghui period, 650 to 655, under the reign of the Tang Emperor Gaozong, the Wild Goose Pagoda was built in the Daqin Temple to store the sutras, which the eminent monk Xuanzang brought from India to Chang'an, which is today's Xi'an. So that's the story of the journey to the West, which is this eminent monk went to the West, which is India, to go get the sutras from the Buddhist monks in India and bring them back to Xi'an, which is the capital of China at that time. And you'll see some really cool stele things right there on the Wild Goose Pagoda. So it's basically historic sutras of Buddha. And you can kind of see, I think this is like a tourist place where you can buy souvenirs and get your ticket to go inside of the small Wild Goose Pagoda. Really just across the sidewalk from there. So when it's open, it has all these signs, mind your head, because one of the things you learn about pagodas is the stairs get narrower as you go up, and the ceilings gets lower because it's shrinking as it goes higher. More steles about the history of the sutras that are around that were collected, and then just lots of sculptures that have been left outside that are gradually, getting washed away or destroyed by rain, but they're still kind of interesting to see. I like this picture of the small wild goose pagoda with the traditional Chinese roofs. It's very cool. To me, it's cool. This is more of the wild goose pagoda and more of these sculptures. There's just a ton of them. There's a nice lake out the back of the ancient museum, which has got the historical parts of stuff in it. And again, I can't stop doing this. This is how the internet comes into China, and the power lines are on the upper right of this picture. They're straight. They're not tangled. These are, Cat 6 cables or broadband cables that bring the internet up to various apartments, I guess. And they're kind of fun. You can actually go in and get yourself connected right there in that black box, if you wish. All right, this is a work of art, I think. All right, this is even more. The cable goes on forever and ever. All right, this is more about the neighborhood near the Crown Plaza Hotel. And if you want to rent a bicycle, here's a bicycle. There's lots of bicycles. They're massive stack, so you just grab one and go. I took a picture of my hotel. I don't know why. And this is the Crown Plaza. Crown Plaza has a restaurant up on the 49th floor, 47th floor, something like that. And next door is a sports arena. It's not an arena, it's an irena. As I don't know, somebody had misspelled something, but it is pasted onto the color of the seats over there. So I guess they're stuck with that. And up on that restaurant, you can get tuna fish ice cream, selected tuna fish mixed with fresh lemongrass and Japanese soy sauce made into a special ice cream mousse served in an apple-flavored ice cup. I showed that to my daughter, and she sent me the yuck, the not happy throw up emoji. All right. Here is a picture. What you can see from that restaurant way up, it's kind of cool. You've got the arena, you've got a soccer field, you've got the city of Xi'an, which is amazingly modern and lots of big, tall buildings. And it's the only problem with Xi'an is if you're there in the winter, they burn coal and you can't breathe sometimes. You are in a hotel, you look out the window across the street and you can't see across the street because of the smog. So they need to hire all the EPA people from America to figure out how to get rid of that. This is my friend Sujun again. We've come to this restaurant for dinner, and we can see the sun set from here. It's really cool. And where is that sun setting? That sun is setting and going across the ocean to California, I think. All right. Once again, there's the big, tall, beautiful building, and it's always got flowers. And there's my friend Sujun just hanging around. And we see this sculpture. I think this is a bar or a bar we went into. They've got this sculpture I thought I would try. When you walk around Xi'an, there's a big shopping center, and it has all these little miniature. This looks like a ripoff of Disney's Teacup Ride. But that's exactly what it is. And you can see all of these big head characters everywhere. And they're very cool. You got the Lego Man. You can go buy a blonde wig should you so choose. And dream trips. You should be here. Welcome to Xi'an. I didn't know what this place was, but it's pretty magnificent. It's got this massive entryway. It looks like it has security. This must be a government building of some sort. If you go down the road next to that big building, you'll see this restaurant, which is, got burning something in this big trash can, this big 55, I don't know if it's 55 gallon, it looks like a 55 gallon drum in America. And it's going to boil something in that pot, and away you go. They've got their barbecue outside. They're going to cook you some barbecue. So it's kind of cool. I think you're assuming that it's going to be just perfectly okay. We're looking back at the stadium. It's got the Olympic symbol as if it was used in the Olympics at one time, that arena. You can see delivery sometimes happens by tricycle. And I don't know what this place was, but it looked kind of cool. I took pictures of it. It's got some old signs. It looks kind of a messy place. This one's right next door. And this is that ancient building in the Xi'an Museum. So I go over there to check it out on a better non-rainy day. And they have a an exhibit they're showing, which is the life of beautiful women in Chang'an in the Han and Tang dynasties. And Chang'an served as the capital of 13 dynasties in Chinese history. As the start of it started the Silk Road, as well as the political, cultural, and economic center of East Asia. It witnessed the integration of colorful, exotic culture and traditional Chinese culture in Han and Tang dynasties, which contributed to the all-embracing, brilliant, and colorful scene of prosperity. In that period, open-minded women lived a life full of variety in Chang'an, enjoying the advantages of being in an imperial city. They wore gorgeous clothing, beautiful makeup, and exquisite ornaments to show their personal charm, and always went leisurely to downtown streets, lanes, parks, and famous historical sites, thus leading the fashionable trend of females' life. So anyway, I just read you that sign. And of course, there's an example of the beautiful women. But if you go in the exhibit, what you'll see is sculptures of women on horseback and in all kinds of varieties of life in China and things on fans and all kinds of art showing off clothing of women in those days. It's very cool. Oh, this is great. This is hairstyles. Facial makeup and hairstyle. As the lifestyle and customs of Chinese women, makeup has a long history. Its ups and downs signify the changes of society and fashion, as well as the orientation of aesthetic idea to some extent. In the Han Dynasty, females had rich cosmetics, and those in the palace started to use precious Zyda, black eyebrow drawing material produced in Persia. In the northern and southern dynasties, makeup skills became diversified. As foreign ideological and cultural achievements were absorbed in Han and Hu customs were integrated into the Tang dynasty, it was popular that females pursued and favored novel and fashionable makeup, and the phenomenon that females dressed up as Hu women was nothing new. Wow, okay. So I just took lots of pictures of the sculptures in this museum. It's very cool. And some of the clothing. And some of these sculptures are, 2,000 years old. So 1,500 to 2,000 years old. So they're just gorgeous to look at and very, very nicely done. When you go through a historical museum like that, you often will see the noses snapped off of Buddha or other people, and that's because there was some Muslim attack that happened that made this happen. But you always have this dragon or this snake sculptures and the various gods of Buddhism here. And they're all very cool. And I always like these carved snake dragon guys because they're completely awesome. And this guy's he looks like Shrek, an angry Shrek who's lost some weight and is wearing fighting clothes. So this is just, if you go into the Xi'an Museum, and it's not on a typical tourist destination because all the signs are in Chinese. You're not going to know what they are unless you pick your phone up and aim it at them and have Google Translate work for you. So it took pictures. I think I took the entire museum. So you probably don't want to hear that from me. But it's just the historic 2,000-year-old sculptures are really just awesome to see, and even the ones made of gold. Again, another smashed nose. Earthquake maybe knocked it over. Another smashed nose. Anyway, this is what you see if you go in the Xi'an Museum in this particular exhibit about women. So it's a lot of sculptures of women and various roles. I like these. I like these kind of interesting ones that are like multi-sided square things with little scenes going on. I don't know what they are, but they're cool. These artists are just amazing. There's, if the stone is really soft, it and it's been outside at all, it loses some of its definition as on the right there. So these are very cool. Okay. In the museum, of course, they have the Happy Learning class where you can go learn about this history. And I think if you're into this, you'll go there. Jade used for rituals. In prehistoric period, Chinese people considered jade the pure and transparent stone, the essence of Mother Nature, with which people can form contact with heavenly gods or spirits of the deceased. Therefore, jade items were commonly used by imperial families in ritual ceremonies to meet the spirits of the ancestors. Generally, jade items for ceremonies, jade items for imperial rituals, and jades for burials can all be classified as ritual jade items. Jades for rituals first appeared in the Neolithic Age and later underwent great development over the Shang Dynasty and the Zhou Dynasty till the Qing Dynasty and the Han Dynasty. However, jade items gradually lost their original ritual function and were widely used in burial ceremonies, and thus the burial jade items. I bought these three books as tourist souvenirs at the Xi'an Museum. Oh, I don't know. I thought this guy was cool. I don't know what it is. Little snake head, horse head, pig head. And then my friend Sujin took me to the Xi'an Library. So this is a library. If you think about what public libraries look like in America, this is a public library in China. It looks like a university. It looks like a work of art. And when you go inside, you're at the Shanxi Library, and they have loan and reading area for foreign books and periodicals. So you can go inside and you'll see this is, I think, a Sunday. And this library is filled with people studying and writing and reading, and it's quite beautiful. For some reason, I sat down and started reading the new complete code of Hammurabi, which basically teaches you how to read the hieroglyphics of the Code of Hammurabi, which is the first written law book, I believe. This is my friend Sue June. She can read English because she spent, I think, a high school year in Michigan. Okay, this is one of my favorite signs. I think this is like a 7-Eleven. It has a sign that says steak. And this is really ice cream and yogurt and berries. It's not steak at all. I was disappointed. And then I had to go to a conference to give a talk. Mark Spargan also was a former student of mine, PhD student, was also giving a talk in this event called Beyond Cloud. And it's at the Xi'an Software Park Development Center. And here are the people who run this that I met there. And we had lunch. And Virtuos has an office there. And Virtuos, I think they have 800 employees in the Xi'an office, 600 artists, 200 engineers. And director of this office came to me and said, we need to hire 200 more engineers. Can we hire them from your program at USC? And I said, well, there's like only 200 people total in the program. You would steal everybody. But I never heard back from him. You can take Unity 3D classes there. So they're a development studio and a teaching studio because they know if they teach the right guy, they might actually be able to hire that person. All right. Beyond Cloud, here is the presentation. This is Dean Ma, who is introducing me to give my talk. Here's me giving my talk. And then we're going to go out to dinner here, I believe, or lunch, dinner here. Yeah, dinner. I took this picture of this menu because you could have seafood spaghetti or seafood risotto or fried spicy seafood rice with bologna. It's not bologna, it's abalone. This is cool. Price is good. Food was excellent. And they have this place, Idea Coffee. It's a coffee shop that is in the Xi'an Technical Center where you can get waffles with ice cream and banana. It's cool. Anyway, here's me. Oh, this is Wang Yong on the right of me, and Daming on the left. Here's Mark Spurgeon and Dean Ma and I. Mark is there to help Dean Ma start looking at creating a game development studio. And they're building a game for use by tourists. And then that is the end of my trip. So this set of slides, this set of weeks, I compressed a whole lot. I way too many slides, but it was a great time. I'm taking China Southern from Xi'an to Guangzhou, and then from Guangzhou um, to Los Angeles. Anyway, that was my trip. I had a wonderful and great time. And I want to acknowledge Qingyun Ma, Wang Yong, Wang Jing, Bran Fearon, Su Jun, and anyone else who took me to great places in China on this very long and engaging trip in the summertime, which is okay. I didn't die. All right. Here is my contact information should you have any questions for me. And you have a great day. I will stop sharing slides. And we'll see you next time. I've got more China trips I want to put onto video as well, plus maybe even some meetings with some of the Chinese that I had when they came to visit me in the United States in Los Angeles. Anyway, have a great day. This has been my YouTube channel. Bye-bye.